Yes. They just keep coming in waves. I've lost count of how many I've defeated. Before I realized it, even the sandstorm...
Here comes another wave! Leave this round to us. I got interrupted earlier, but now I have something to take my anger out on.
It's been quite a while since I've seen the Flame Mane in action.
I'll be sure to put on a good show. Let's go!
Hey! Witness the power of Gua. Rain outlines your...
Illusion shattered! Ha!
Committed to memory. Here comes another wave. When are they ever gonna let up? I'll protect us.
Shine down!
This may turn a little. Yeah. The creature stopped appearing. Was that the last of them?
What we fought just now was probably the aftermath of the sandstorm. So we should be...
Well fought, everyone. No injuries, I hope.
Huh?
Ah, my apologies. I haven't had a chance to greet you yet. I had my hands full taking care of... I am the chief of Aru Village. Everyone usually calls me Uncle Anpu.
Sir, I am also originally from the desert, but I have not been back for some time now.
I can't say they've always been common. Besides sandstorms, we also occasionally get earthquakes. According to an investigator who stayed in the village a while ago, these unusual natural phenomena...
Another effect of So, Irminsul's withering causes withering zones in the forest, and sandstorms and earthquakes here in the desert?
Everything in the natural world is inextricably connected to Irminsul. These regional symptoms can indeed be a reflection of Irminsul's
Everyone in Aru Village needs to take good care of themselves. Speaking of which, why haven't I seen a single village keeper since I got here?
Village keeper? Who are they?
Does your curiosity know no bounds? Village Keeper is how Aru Village refers to mad scholars, exiled here by the academia. Most of them are scholars who lost their sanity after a period of training in the Avidia forest. The academia believes that their crazed mutterings may have a negative effect on the psyches of other scholars. So, they're forcibly exiled to the desert. Though if you ask me...
Alas, that's exactly what we've been trying to investigate. One by one, the village keepers have been mysterious, but no one in the village has ever seen them leave. If you're planning to stay around the village for the next few...
I've had encounters with those people in the past. I'll see what I...
The Matra are the ones responsible for their exile. Now that you're no longer with them, are you trying to alleviate your guilt and atone for your past...
Mock me if you will. But if you are guilty, I will eliminate you. Regardless...
Oh, you're the former General Mahamatra. You must be an expert in these kinds of investigations. Thank you for...
Is it because you're reminded of Hypatia? Oh, these poor scholars. First they lose their sanity, now this! But, is it really a good idea to tag along with Sino? You seem like you really don't trust him.
I'll be grateful for the assistance. No doubt you will do a better job than some of my former subordinates. Let's start by finding a spot to share what we know so far. Although I've sent myself into exile, I'm still doing essentially... Do you still have any questions for me before we start our investigation? One of my former subordinates told me that this title has its origin. The Academia has long exiled mad scholars to Aru Village. A mysterious phenomenon exists here. When mad scholars first arrive, they are as incoherent and deranged as before. But, initially, the people of Aru Village greatly resented having to take in the mad scholars. Aru Village was struck by the strongest earthquake in living memory. Seeing buildings on the verge of collapse all around him, the then chief of the village was preparing to take everyone to... Suddenly, he noticed a mad scholar crouching in a corner, caressing the ground with his hands. A soft, green light radiated from him, like a divine glow against the backdrop of... Despite the powerful tremors that ripped through the ground that night, all the houses remained upright, almost as if they had grown roots reaching deep into the ground. After that, the people of Aru Village treated the mad scholars with greater kindness, and began to refer to them as the...
A soft green light? A mad scholar protecting Aru Village? What do you make of it, Traveler? Paimon thinks so too. Actually, Sino, do you know if any of the mad scholars continued to wear their Akasha terminals at Aru Village?
In theory, they would continue wearing them so the Academia could still monitor their activities. With that said, the main Akasha system...
Oh, no wonder! Everything makes sense then! Add in the fact that they calmed down, it was probably Nahida who calmed them.
If you are able to draw a conclusion from this one story alone, then it appears you possess much more. So, what do you make of the story? Really?
What? You don't believe us? Lesser Lord Kusanali was definitely using the Akasha to give her power to the mad...
No, it's not so much that I don't believe you. I'm just struck by your... Lesser Lord Kusanali, the current Dendro Archon. The Academia has always placed far greater importance on the late Greater Lord Rukkhadevata. They've more or less ignored Lesser Lord Kusanali, and I've never had any reason to doubt their views. In addition, I've never heard any stories about Lesser Lord Kusanali and her deeds.
No way! Nahida definitely exists! She's a... How should Paimon put it? She's a good Archon who's kind and wise.
I've spent many years interrogating criminals. So what?
Good! Then you should know that we're telling the truth.
That look in your eyes. I've never seen... How can this be? To think. Our Archon has been amongst us this entire...
Alright, now it's our turn to put our skills to good use for this investigation. But easier said than done, especially since we don't have any leads. Maybe we can start by knocking on some doors.
Excuse me, are you here to help me find my grandpa?
Huh?
By the sounds of it, a resident of this village.
My name is Isak. You'll help me find my grandpa.
Is your grandpa a mad scholar?
Hey, don't say that. Grandpa is just Grandpa.
The person you're referring to is not a local. Yet you...
Grandpa is just Grandpa. I heard everything you said to the village chief. Please, you gotta take me with you. I want to find my grandpa. I swear I'll help. I won't be a nuisance.
Ah, so you're the one who was eavesdropping on us around the village chief's house. I was planning to go out and take care of whoever it was, but I had a vague feeling that they didn't harp...
Whoa. Hatham wasn't kidding about Matra having sharp senses. Sino, he's just a kid.
Sorry. I was only listening in because I wanted to know where Grandpa went. Honest. If you don't believe me, you can ask Miss Candace.
All right. But first, let's confirm the fact.
is super vigilant. Is this what all the Matra are like?
Ah, you're back already.
We just wanted to confirm something with you. Do you
I had a...
Huh? You knew?
Yes. Although he tried his best to stay hidden, I still noticed him eavesdropping outside the window. Isak's parents were both Aramite mercenaries who rarely returned to the village after finding employment in the city. He was raised by his grandfather. Unfortunately, it was only a few years before his grandpa passed away. Isak was still very young at the time, so various families later, an elderly mad scholar arrived at the village. Isak thought the scholar bore striking. However, the scholar was unkempt in appearance and incoherent in speech. Although Isak referred to the man as his grandpa, one summer night, the oft mumbling and bumbling grandpa suddenly calmed down and seemed to become more lucid. He even noticed Isak hiding, so Grandpa walked up to Isak and patted him on the head. He even took Isak to the entrance of the village, where he patiently taught the boy the names of the stars. The next morning, Isak woke up and wanted to go find his grandpa again, only to realize his grandpa no longer recognized him. However, it's said that those who saw the scholar claimed he no longer appeared to be crazy, but appeared to be living in his own. Isak was thrilled that his grandpa was able to find peace and would follow him all the time, asking him things like, "Grandpa, want me to take you somewhere fun?" or, "Grandpa."
All this somehow just makes Paimon feel really sad. It seems like they both deserve...
Perhaps. Nearly everyone who lives in the desert has some form of hardship or regret. But it's also my reason for fighting. I must continue.
Maybe the people have always had a considerate god watching over them.
Huh? What did you say, Sino?
No, nothing. As long as Isak keeps his word and doesn't get in our...
Perhaps you are more compassionate than I gave you credit for. Please accept...
Hey, Isak!
Oh, it's you guys!
We've cleared everything up. Let's go find your...
Really? Yeah!
Alright. Let's have...
Excuse me, did you happen to see where the missing...
You mean the village keepers? Oh, when I was eating dinner the other day, I saw one of them by the side of the road, muttering away and eating mushrooms and... anything else? No, I think that...
The scholars that have gone missing.
Those eyes. Those...
Don't change the subject.
Right. You were asking about the the mad scholars. I think it's been a few days since I last saw them. I usually go to bed pretty early, but honestly, I feel quite sympathetic towards them. Even though they act a little strange, they've helped me in the past. If it weren't for them,
Do you also think Grandpa and the others are good people?
Grandpa? Oh, hello there. It's little Isak. You mean that nice man who looks like your He was actually the one who protected my house. I saw it with my own eyes. He happened to be staying near my house it still feels pretty surreal now that I think back on it. Did someone teach them how to do that? Well, whatever the case, I'll always be thankful to him and whoever taught him to look out for others. I'm pretty sure that if I ever went mad, I wouldn't be able to do anything like that.
Gotcha. Thank... Sir, have you seen my grandpa recently? You know, the one who likes to sit and space...
Oh, well, if it isn't Isak. Oh, your grandpa, huh? The last time I saw him, he was spacing out by the road as usual. I went and asked him if he'd like any of the food I had prepared, despite my wife's protests. Like many people... And speaking of my wife, she's still always complaining about how I don't make enough mora. That might explain why she...
Oh, thank you. Thank you for taking...
It was nothing. You're looking for him, right?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's no good. Well, once you found him, come by my... I've known you since you were very young. So as far as I'm concerned, you're family.
Wow, what a nice guy!
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Huh? Don't say anything for now. Let's head over there. Stay quiet at... Listen, see if you can make out what they're saying.
Have you heard? The mighty King Deshret, the sovereign of our faith, will soon return to this world.
Yes, of course I have. King Deshret is the one and only true ruler of this land. Still, you say he's coming back, but it sure doesn't feel like life's about to change around here anytime.
Haven't you noticed? The village has been getting more deranged scholar. Delavar was saying that many people also went insane just before the fall of King Deshret's civilization in ancient times. We don't quite know why, but it seems like there's some sort of connection between insanity and King Deshret. Isn't it a sign of King Deshret's power that all the mad scholars have disappeared? If you ask me, they must have been
Huh. Now that you say it, that does make some sense.
Exactly. Those city folks will get what's coming to them.
Now, repeat everything you've just said from the very beginning.
Huh?
Who are you?
My patience is running thin. You heard what I asked.
Yeah! Bro, this guy's something else. Just look at his eyes.
Let's not get on his bad side, okay? I am no match for this guy.
Oh, okay, good sir. What is it you would like to know?
Tell me about King Deshret's resurrection.
Well, I only know a few things from hearsay. I went for a drink the other day and heard others talking about a rumor that the madmen will disappear and that King Deshret will return to this land. I'm not making this up, I swear!
Hey, go on.
It's true. It's all true, sir. We desert folk have had more than enough of those people at the academia. They keep sending us all their mad scholars and won't let us have a good life. Would you want to live like this if you were in our place? The radicals were even more thrilled than me when they heard the news. We're all praying for King Deshret's speedy return. Delavar also said that once King Deshret returns to our side, it's only a matter of time before we conquer the land on the other side of the wall. They're all willing to serve under King Deshret and fight for a share of the glory.
Is that...
Seems like he still wants to know more.
Got it! At first, I told myself it was just the drink talking, but then all the mad scholars vanished without a trace, just as the rumors said. Please, don't beat me up just for mentioning these rumors. If I'm guilty, then everyone else around here is also guilty. I'm just saying what the others said.
The people here really like King Deshret, but dislike the Dendro Archon.
Where is this radical
I haven't run into him over the past few days, so he probably hasn't been around the village.
What?
No, not at all. We wouldn't dare lie to you. He's really not here right now.
Sounds like you're not too close with the radicals.
No, of course not. All we know are their names.
I have many ways to stop you from talking. And many others to stop you from sending warning messages. So you'd best just stay home and hope I don't hear of you trying to contact. Don't do anything until I've gotten to the bottom of this. Try something foolish, and even Candace won't be able to.
Yes, got it. We'll do just as you say.
That scared Paimon half to death. Sino is pretty terrifying. He didn't try to reassure us at all. It's like he's used to hearing that. Oh, Paimon bets lots of people have told him that before.
I heard that.
Sorry.
It's part of being a Matra. The rumor we heard just now seems like a strong lead. But we need to check a few more places. Very well.
Isak!
I'm here.
Where's your grandpa's house?
Well, I can take you there. Grandpa? Oh, he likes to be alone. Sometimes he stares at the sky in a daze, and other times he just pokes at the ground with his fingers. Every now and then, he yells out at the top of his lungs, so a lot of people are really scared of him. But he's a good person, really. I know he is. I swear, he's just like my real grandpa. This is where Grandpa usually...
There sure isn't much here.
No.
Incense? Please don't say it's the same one as before, but are you okay? Are you getting dizzy?
There's a scent that you can sense, but I can't.
A certain traveler here once passed out from that smell. Thankfully, Tainari saved the day. And then he gave us a long lecture to explain all about how it worked.
So, you know Tainari?
Huh? You know him too? Are you...
Yes. Now that I concentrate, I can also make out the scent of incense.
Wait, surely Tainari didn't lecture you.
No. No need. Did you first encounter this scent at Tainari's house? In the forest.
What are you looking for, Sino?
Here it is. Take a look right here.
Paimon doesn't...
Although the traces have been completely buried in the sand, from the size and shape, they belong to an adult male. This pattern is a common one from this area. The scent is quite faint, but still extant. The footprints head in the direction of...
But who would come looking for Grandpa? He doesn't have...
We'd have to ask whoever lured him away with the incense.
Huh? So you can lure someone away with just a scent? Hey! What's wrong with liking good food? Everyone's got something they love in life.
Exactly. Most scholars are fond of incense, since the smell supposedly helps them clear their minds and discover even deep within the clutches of madness. They still yearn for their knowledge-seeking days, and will follow the scent whenever it presents itself.
No.
So, someone's taking advantage of their weakness? Huh. Still, why would anyone want to abduct all the scholars? Are the rumors really true? Could the disappearance of all the mad scholars have some...
It's highly likely.
Please, you have to save my Grandpa. Grandpa...
Sounds like we'd better help get him back. Don't you worry, Isak. We won't let whoever took him get away with it.
Let's head to Aru Village and inform Candace and the others about what we learned here. After that, we'll set off to find the scholars.
Right.
We're back, Candace. We've got a lot to tell.
Ah, welcome back.
Sounds like everyone's friends already.
Oh, Dia's here too.
You bet. So,
Reasonably.
Alhaitham didn't go with...
We haven't seen him at all.
Huh. I saw him around the village entrance earlier and figured he was investigating with you. I guess he must have gone off on a...
Did you find out anything useful? I see. So someone used a kind of incense to lead the exiled scholars away.
The resurrection of King Deshret? First I've heard of it. Far as I know, the kind of incense you just mentioned is only popular beyond the wall. Scholars are fond of it, but as you can see, there aren't many scholars still studying around these parts. No seller would be able to make a profit here. Not to mention, making incense is a labor-intensive process. You won't see anybody in the desert with the patience to make or sell something that requires that kind of effort. It seems someone from beyond the wall must have been supporting this.
Makes sense.
So what should we do then? Do we go back to the academia and
If it was any other day, that would be your next logical step. But today, you've got me on your team, so you get an extra tip. Didn't you say that the villager got his news from the tavern? Well, I also like to drink at the tavern, so I know a thing or two about these radicals he mentioned.
If Paimon remembers correctly, the leader of the radicals is...
Ah, yeah. Delavar, the scar-riddled bandit, Engur, the wide-eyed butcher, and Jabari, the duck-tail bearded crook. The whole lot of them are known around these parts. These guys have one thing in common, and that's being broke. The rougher life gets, the more they want to believe in King Deshret. Way they see it, King Deshret's resurrection is their only chance at overthrowing the academia. Throwing all of Sumeru into chaos is the only way to change the way of life here in the desert. Anyway, that's my guess why they've chosen to become radicals.
Tia! You're amazing! You really know this place inside and out!
No merc can afford to slack off on gathering intelligence. Every more I've spent in the tavern has been a valuable investment.
Let's head out.
Now hold on, you're staying right here, Sino.
Why?
Aru Village is not a big place. Outsiders stand out here like a sore thumb. I'd bet word about you has already gotten out. The desert is unforgiving, so the way of life here is also a lot tougher than on the outside of the wall. You survive on making connections out here. Compared to you, mercs like me are just third-rate amateurs. I've got no actual fighting skills to speak of. But that also makes it a whole lot easier for me to gain the locals' trust. I need to go around and ask some questions, but it'll be difficult if you're with me.
Fine.
Good. Then we've got a plan. The Traveler and Paimon will go to Caravan Rebot with me, and we'll try our best to figure out where the mad scholars have been taken. Sino, you'll have to stay in the village and continue investigating on your own.
All right, sounds like a plan.
Need to watch out.
Well, here we are again.
Sounds like you're starting to get familiar with the area.
Paimon's amazed every time we see the wall of Samiel. How can a wall this tall even exist? It's almost unreal.
I know what you mean. I had the same question every time I walked this way when I was a kid. Also, why is this high wall here? And can a wall really block sandstorms? It was only after I grew up that I realized the wall of Samiel isn't just there to keep out the sandstorms. It serves a more important purpose, keeping out people like us. Sumeru is run by wise and mighty sages. To them, us desert dwellers are nothing but tools that can be used and discarded at their whim. We're cheap labor, like livestock, but easier to control. Nothing more. Even if a child from the desert got the chance to obtain an Akasha terminal, almost all their requests for knowledge would be denied. The academia believes we're underserving. Geniuses like Sataria are one in a million. The other children never get a single chance to try and rewrite their fate, even though the academia knows very well that we're humans, just as they are.
That's terrible.
I would tear down this wall with my own hands if I could.
Hey, Dia.
No, not at all. This place just gets me thinking, that's all. Besides, we're here to procure information, aren't we?
Yep, we gotta catch those.
Shh. Caravan Rebot is crawling with people, so be careful what you say. We don't want anyone to find out what we're here for. Our mission started the moment we arrived here. Let's go check out the tavern. Maybe we'll find someone I know. Just our luck. None of them are here today.
You mean you don't see anyone you know?
Dia, is that you? What a coincidence. You here for a drink too?
Zaki. Finally, a friendly face.
Oh, and who do you have with you here? Guests from another land? Hello. I'm Zaki. Dia's, how would you...
We've had drinks together a few times. You could say we go back a ways. Anyway, as far as my friends here, they aren't too shabby, are they? You rarely see any Outlanders so friendly and respectful nowadays.
Absolutely. Much better than those people on the other side of the wall. So, Dia, are you looking for someone?
Yeah. Have you seen Enger, Delavar, or Jabari recently?
Of course I have. Matter of fact, we were all here
I've got a spice trading deal from another nation. I thought maybe Delavar and his friends might be interested. Know where I could find him?
Ah, how thoughtful of you. Then I assume you also know that Delavar's been having a hard time making ends meet these days, so you came here to help him out?
Hey, keep it down. Let's just say I prefer to keep this deal a secret. Y'all at Caravan Rebot are like family. If there's more to be made, why not do it together? Besides, Delavar and his friends have muscle. They'd be a good fit for escorting the goods.
Yes, how considerate of you. Delavar's my friend too, so of course I can take you to him. Come with me.
Are we there yet?
Yep.
This place is practically deserted. What are they doing in a place like this?
Why don't you take a guess? Go on. A wild stab in the dark.
What's this all about, Zaki?
Come on, Dia. You really think we didn't hear about what you said back in Aru Village? The boys have kept a close eye on you from the moment you set foot there. Not only do I know that you're looking for Delavar, I also know that you've teamed up with people from the Academia to look for the
So, you've been watching us from the very beginning?
Uh-oh. I knew leaving Sino behind was a mistake!
And you left the strongest one in the village, didn't you? Who do you think you are? You really thought we'd fall for your little...
So you and Delavar have been partners all along.
Dia, I guess it's only natural for a traveling mercenary like you to be out of the loop. Those of us who hang around the tavern have stronger bonds than you think. But you got one thing right. We're all looking forward to an uprising in Sumeru. There's nothing more we'd like to see than the desert folk overthrowing the Academia.
If that's the case, then I'm sure Delavar wouldn't miss a second of it.
I'll be honest with you. If it weren't for what you said in the village, your little monologue about the Wall of Samiel would have convinced me that you're one of us.
Delavar. And Engar. You're here too, huh?
Long time no see, Miss Mercenary. You should have known the traitors are what us followers of King Deshret despise the most.
Dia, I thought that you, a fellow desert dweller, would understand why King Deshret is greater than the Dendro Archon. Little did I...
Yeah, gee, what a missed opportunity. Adopting radical views and kidnapping innocent scholars, all because of some baseless rumors.
See? There you have it. Mercenaries are just a bunch of faithless scum with only one thing on their minds. Mora. Pathetic.
You're not wrong. Mercenaries are driven by Mora, and my faith lies with whoever's paying me. As long as there's a profit to be made, anyone can become...
Enough talking! Get him!
Just as I expected. Let's teach him a lesson, traveler.
Following
orders.
Brain cutter. Time to act.
Illusion shattered!
Need. Impossible!
So, what do you think about your meticulous network now, Zaki? How did you say it? It's only natural for a traveling mercenary like me to be out of the loop. I'm guessing your informant told you that I'm just an incompetent merc with no real fighting skills, correct? I mean, that is what I said after all. And of course you would believe everything he reported. The only thing you know about me is that I'm a mercenary, but you've never seen me in action. Even though you heard we went to handle monsters together, you believed that Candace was the only one doing all the real fighting. That so-called Flame Mane is just a fraud. She admitted it herself. She just uses her connections to gain the trust of others. That's what you thought, right?
Ugh. You lied in the village because you...
And you were stupid enough to fall for it. I figured as much the first time we drank together. You all thought you were so Okay, that should be all.
Whoa! So you've been planning this since we were in Aru Village?
No task can be done without preparation. I just happened to notice a couple suspicious-looking people while you were out investigating.
Oh, but instead of catching them right away, you let them report back.
Those two who were snooping around were just a couple small fries. If we want to get the real catch, we have to be patient and give it some time.
Oh, you mean the funny name she mentioned back in Uncle Ampu's house? The wide-eyed butcher, scar-riddled bandit, Paimon can't remember.
That's just a bunch of drunk talk. Engar and Delavar like to talk themselves up when they're drinking. Engar, the wide-eyed butcher, and Delavar, the scar-riddled bandit, are the nicknames they came up with for themselves. Alcohol has a way of making people share what they really think, so Engar and Delavar are always rambling in the tavern about how King Deshret is a superior deity.
What about Zaki?
He's just a numbskull who fell right into our trap. Zaki was probably the best hidden of them all. My initial plan was to find Delavar first, and then try to track him down. That's what you wanted to ask when we were at Uncle Anpu's house, right? Jabari is one of the villagers you talked to. You know, the one who wanted to treat Isak and his grandpa to some food.
Wait, so he's a radical too?
No, he isn't. I just needed to tack on a random villager name to make the eavesdropper think that I was making some wild guesses based on my impressions.
Wow, what a genius idea! Well, that's an expert.
Ah, you're too kind. It was straight from the usual.
So, that thing you were saying...
About what?
About how mercenaries only care about Mora. And that anyone's a friend as long as there's a profit.
Does that bother you? What makes you so sure?
Dia, do you dislike the Dendro Archon like the other desert folk?
You two are pretty sharp. No, I don't have anything against the Dendro Archon. I've heard a lot of nice things about the Lesser Lord from Dunyarzad. I can understand her devotion and gratitude. Dunyarzad's just an ordinary person. There's no way a god would be so involved in the lives of everyday people, unless they were truly compassionate. I've begun to realize that the sages are behind everything that's happened recently. The radicals' blind belief in King Deshret, making the Dendro Archon out to be an enemy. It's all the academia's trickery. But I see through it all. And unlike them, I can never be hostile towards anyone who's...
Dia.
Anyway, looks like we're done with business here. Traveler, lend me a hand. Let's tie him up and bring him to the village. This should be all of them. I'll let you take it.
All right. I'll be in touch. Until then, please stand by.
Candace, do you need it?
Candace will be okay on her own. I trust her, so you can too. She's been guarding Aru village for quite some time now. If anyone is qualified to question the offenders, it's...
While I'm questioning them, why don't you pass some time by exploring the area?
I'll meet you back here tomorrow morning, Traveler. As for these idiots, let's just hope they live to see another day. Right on time. Well,
Paimon's been wondering. You seem to know Candace pretty well. Have you been...
We've known each other for some time now. She's a pretty interesting person. Even though she's an extremely strong warrior.
Oh, Paimon knows what you mean. Like a lot of martial artists say, never take the fight out...
Yep, I guess you can put it that way. It takes strong convictions to be as dedicated as she is, and shoulder that kind of responsibility. Us mercs, on the other hand, we...
Well, Paimon thinks you're great, too.
Really?
Oh, Sino's here, and he's pretty early, too.
Yes. I was here yesterday to help out a little.
To help out? By doing what?
Sharing some interrogation techniques.
Oh, you mean you taught Candace some more...
Right.
Come on in, everyone.
Come on, let's go inside.
this.
Do I?
Oh, there's no mask that can hide true bloodlust. Cover up your eyes, and it'll still show itself.
Perhaps I need to work on my composure. Still, it's perfectly understandable why I'm angry. I'm sure
Yes.
Please, don't beat us anymore.
Well, looks like Sino taught her well.
You fear death yourselves, yet you do not hesitate to place the lives of others at risk. The ones you call mad scholars are known to us as the Village Keepers. They are vital members of our community, and some even count them as family. You come here, to my village, and you treat my people as nothing more than stepping stones towards your goal. Tell me, what would you do to you?
Mercy! Please, have mercy!
You've made your bed.
We may both be desert dwellers, but there's one thing that I understand better than you. The resurrection of King Deshret will only result in war. And war served, the people of Aru Village care little about which god is in power. Life may be tough and tiring, but we wish to preserve our way of life. A war would only cause us to lose all that we have. And that is not a responsibility that you can afford to shoulder.
We understand. I'll tell you everything I know. Please, just let us...
I'm listening.
You might not believe this, but it wasn't us who came up with this idea. Someone was spreading rumors in the tavern. That's how we ended up hearing about King Deshret's... Some mystery man told us that mad scholars will make the perfect sacrifice to usher in King Deshret's resurrection. They give their lives, and we can get anything we wish for.
They're called Village Keepers. Slip up again, and you'll regret it.
Yes, sorry. It was all that mystery man's doing. He told us to spread the word about King Deshret's resurrection and talked us into helping him. In return, he said he'll help facilitate the resurrection process. I'm not...
That's one.
Huh? One what?
Strike. You get a total of 3. Then...
Wait, I'm telling the truth. We don't know anything. It was all him. He got us to lure them out of their houses in the night with some kind of incense. We take them to a junction outside the village. Then the mystery guy takes them from there. You gotta believe me, please. I'm telling the truth, I swear. It's just that...
That was indeed the truth. Traveler, go on.
You have to believe me. If I knew that, I would have told you his name right away. I'm not risking another beating to keep his secrets. No way. That guy, he wears a cloak, and he's always careful to cover his face. He calls himself King Deshret's envoy.
I believe I may know what's going on.
Uncle Anpu?
Smooth.
Okay, speak.
If my suspicions are correct, this mystery man Some time ago, people from the academia attempted to take the village keepers away. I refused. It strikes me now that this secretive character shares the same goal
Which means it's highly likely that the academia was purposely spreading a false rumor to trick the radicals into delivering the village keepers right into their hands. They were the ones who brought them here to begin with. Now they're trying to take them back? We aren't gonna let that happen.
Not the academia again.
Just as I thought, but what could they want with the village keepers?
People are nothing but tools in the eyes of the academia. A change in their plans likely means they found another way to exploit the scholars. Regardless, our top priority now is locate.
You're right. Isak is still waiting for news.
Time to go. Let's leave the village and try to track them down.
Yes. Pack up and get ready to leave.
You got it. Candace, I'll let you deal with the radicals. Leave everything outside the village to us.
All right.
Let's meet back here once everyone's ready. him?
Well, as you can see, I am...
You were gone for ages! And now you're suddenly sitting here musing to yourself? Hey, what's with the side...
You never think things through before asking questions. I'm giving you some time to make up for...
Paimon's so mad! Paimon's gonna give you an ugly nickname! There's just nothing super obvious to pick with this guy!
Well, you've heard nothing to suggest I left this whole time, so clearly I stayed in the village to investigate. Anyway, you plan to leave Aru Village and keep searching...
Yep. We're not gonna find out anything more by staying here, so we thought that... Enough with the silent treatment!
No. I'm just surprised that you decided to team up with him.
Al-Haytham, you haven't helped us out at all ever since we arrived at Aru Village. Bold of you to question our choices.
Yeah, you're all talk!
While you were investigating, I had my own work to do, which I've now finished.
Really?
To be honest, we aren't really a team, so I have no obligation to inform you. Not to mention that going separate ways allowed me to find some important information that you all...
Huh? Right here in the...
Correct.
What did you learn?
I'm going to take you to someone. But, before...
What does that mean?
How do you think the residents of Aru Village feel about what we're doing? In other words, do you truly believe every single word the villagers tell us?
You mean, some of them lied to me?
Hiding the truth does not necessarily equate to lying. Again, remember what Gandis said? Most people in Aru Village don't necessarily care which deity is in charge of Sumeru. That's because whether King Deshret or the Dendro Archon has power, by contrast, the perils of their daily lives are ever-present concerns. They won't simply share everything they know with you without good reason. That's why you believed there was no further information to be found in this village. Glad you're following along. Among those you have talked to, there's someone who was consciously keeping you out of the loop. In fact, she's been observing your every move since you... The reason being, to someone who only wants to live their life in peace, any...
Those eyes, those fierce eyes, you...
Don't change the subject.
It's quite obvious that she's intimidated by Sino's authority and strength.
Right. You were asking about the the mad scholar.
She corrected herself mid-sentence because she's aware that there are King Deshret fanatics in the village. If she sounds too friendly towards the village keepers, she could easily make herself the radicals' next target.
I think it's been a few days since I last saw them. I usually go to bed pretty early, so I'm not too familiar with what...
Remember? She made a point of denying her involvement in anything that occurs at night.
But honestly, I feel quite sympathetic towards them. Even though they act a little strange, they've helped me in the past. If it weren't...
After speaking to the village chief, it became clear that the village keepers had protected Aru Village at night. In other words, the young miss was very much awake during that time.
Then, why would...
By getting involved with an outsider, she risks drawing unwanted attention to herself. As for why she might be so...
I'll pass on this one. You said that she is afraid of me. If so, it's...
We're on it!
Miss Shawnee, as we discussed earlier, I've brought someone with...
Mr. Al-Haytham, I'm aware of where you stand, but...
Huh? What do you mean?
Go ahead and talk to her. You'll get the answers you want. Go on. Earn her trust.
Is it really that simple?
May I call you Traveler? Hi, Traveler. Do you think the resurrection of King Deshret can truly change Sumeru for the better? Why's that? That's very similar to what Miss Candace says. I know you two are friends. That's why I'm... Before, I wouldn't even have the Traveler. Do you believe our lives will get better?
Yeah! We came here from another another nation, so it isn't wrong of you to be weary. But even so, we've met lots of people from different places, and we've always fought for what we have friends in Sumeru, and we want to help them. That's why we decided to stay here for a while.
I want to trust. My apologies for posing my questions like that. To be honest, I didn't expect you to come back for more information.
Oh, Hatham told us you have your reasons. It's okay.
The fact is that only one side of my family is desert folk. Some believe in the Dendro Archon, while others believe in King Deshret. I don't belong to either side.
Speaking of which, the radicals mentioned that they despise traitors. Do they just think that anyone who's different from them is a traitor?
Yeah. Some people can be so narrow-minded when it comes to bloodline and beliefs. It makes no difference what I say. Slowly, I just stopped talking to people. I pretended not to hear or see anything. And then it happened. The village keepers who had helped me disappeared with no explanation, and I didn't dare breathe a word about it to anyone.
You can tell them. I'm sure she'll keep your secret.
All right. I'll tell you what I told Al-Haytham. I actually have a sharper sense of hearing than most. Sometimes, I hear... Perhaps. I'm not sure. It's faint, but it's definitely the sound of crying. It comes from far away in the distance. It used to be louder and more frequent. But ever since you arrived in the village, it doesn't seem to happen as often. And when it does, it's much quieter.
I confirmed this with the guards on night duty. They also have someone with a good ear, and he's heard similar sounds at night. But, because we're in the middle of a desert, you would rather believe that they are the cries of beasts than ghosts.
There's really nothing around these parts, except...
I think they used to use it for treating Elazar, but it's been abandoned for years.
Yeah, let's...
Sounds good to me. The place? It's in terrible shape. Ah! Monsters! Watch out! Inazuma shines eternal!
I see everything!
Witness the power of Gwa. Rain outlines your fate.
Grow, grow, grow! They were easier to deal with than Paimon had expected. Super strong bandits? Or monsters taller than buildings drop? He looks super serious. We gotta stay on our A game too.
This is the one. Let's go in and take a look. Patience. Shawnee says she only hears the crying at night. We have time to burn. Until then, I'm taking a break.
And just like that, he sits down. Wait, what are you reading? Let Paimon see!
Okay, sure.
The natural position, which is the positional propensity of an entity in natural motion in contrast with an object in forced motion? Huh?
So...
Oh, Paimon gives up. You keep reading your book. See ya! How is he so relaxed? Look at him, reading an impossible book in a creepy place like this. Hey! Paimon's your Tibet travel guide. Paimon knows... And anyway, is that Paimon's fault that the books people read in Sumeru are so complicated? Paimon's getting so sleepy. Huh? What was that sound?
There it is. It's coming from that direction.
Is the sound coming from here? Huh. Paimon's not seeing anything.
It's from below.
But there's no way we can...
Something is off about the interior here. As I thought. There's...
Wow. It's like they tucked another... Oh, it looks like there are other mechanisms around here. Let's keep
sword. This may hurt a little. Hi. Oh, let's dance. I see everything. Now you shall perish. Grow.
That's close enough.
Everyone hold hands. There is no escape.
I'll be back.
This may hurt a little. Look, there's someone over there. Good idea. Let's approach him.
Wait. You're...
He can't speak, and his eyes are unfocused. Also, why is he the only one
Didn't expect to see him here.
You know it?
He's Razak, a senior of mine at the academia.
He's a scholar, too? Is he the kind that holes up in a forest and mumbles stuff about training?
No. And that's the problem. Razak was never involved in any of those things. He never trained in the forest, let alone reach Satyavada life. Leaving that question aside for the moment, him being here alone means that looks like they've already taken everyone away. For whatever reason, they left Razak here. Perhaps they simply didn't have time to come. There are drag marks on the ground. They're clearer by the doorway. Someone was forcefully drawing a cart that was loaded with something heavy.
Loaded with people?
That is one possibility. It looks like they were in a hurry, as if they were afraid of being caught. In their haste, they failed to notice the symptoms are identical. Looks like we found living...
Huh?
Allow me to jog your memory. Recall your time at Port Ormos. Don't you think his symptoms look familiar?
Oh, now that you mention it, they're acting...
Correct. The Academia's... It isn't difficult to deduce their rationale.
First, the Academia spread a false rumor of King Deshret's resurrection, emphasizing the role of the village keepers, the mad scholars who were exiled to Aru village.
These rumors were all the persuasion that the radicals needed, and those based in Aru village leapt into action. Unbeknownst to them, of course, through rounding up the scholars, they were actually helping the Academia. As well as being able to exploit the radicals for their own ends, this scheme has one further advantage to the Academia.
All the risks and responsibilities are offloaded onto King Deshret's follower. Life for the desert dwellers has been brutal ever since King Deshret's death all those years ago.
Beneath the surface, feelings of desperation are widespread. Many would give everything they have for the prospect of something better. Anyone looking to exploit that for their own ends simply needs to make...
Even if complications arise, people will see that those involved are all followers of King Deshret,
and look for no further explanation than differences of belief. A deep-seated mistrust of the desert and everyone in it by the rest of Sumeru will make sure of that. The notion of an Academia plot wouldn't even cross their minds. It may seem like a simple strategy, but it is able to work wonders under Sumeru's current circumstances.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. It's in line with the village chief, but there's still one very important question. Wasn't it the Academia that brought the scholars to Aru village in the first place? Why does it want them back now?
Throughout this process, one thing has changed. First, they were scholars. Then, they became lunatics. After that, they were exiles. And finally, an exile is still patently a living, breathing human being. But when someone becomes a missing... If you can't find someone, you have no way of knowing what exactly happened to them. That makes missing people an ideal resource.
Resource?
One possibility is that the information in their brains could be extracted into knowledge capsules.
Extracted? You mean canned knowledge comes from people's brains?
With the technology of the Sumeru Academia, perhaps the process caused them great suffering, which is why they cry out in the dead of night.
So, the human brain... Nope, nah, Hyman doesn't want to think...
I'm the Academia scribe, after all. I'm familiar with their Anyway, judging by Razak's state, the contents of a divine knowledge capsule were extracted from his mind. But something went wrong in the Or perhaps his curiosity got the better of him, and he used such a capsule.
Hyman's a little confused. Can they just use...
The look on your face tells me you've realized the answer. That's right. To some scholars, gaining knowledge about the gods is their entire life's pursuit. Extracting However, I can't help but wonder. The Academia is going out of their way to look for forbidden knowledge. But what is there? I've spent quite some time trying to analyze the contents of the divine knowledge capsule, but to no avail. It seems like my way of thinking is too different from theirs.
You mean you're not even slightly interested in getting your hands on this...
All scholars seek to expand the horizons of knowledge, but I'm not particularly interested in gods, so I don't share their degree of zealotry. Extracting information from people as if they were lifeless objects? If this is the direction of academic progress, then the Academia may as well shut its doors.
Sounds like you're really against all this.
Of course. The academia's actions run contrary to their, whether it be academics or knowledge, everything has its boundaries. If those lines are crossed, the rules and order that govern everything in the world will be. This matter needs to be corrected. Just like fixing a typo in a book.
Wait, didn't you step in to help because you felt
Not to be callous, but no. My criteria are a little more. There is no shortage of suffering in Sumeru, and the same can be said for the rest of Teyvat as well.
Probably not. Paimon's...
You can say that. Simply put, I don't blindly place my faith into strength or heroism. I do what The Divine Knowledge Capsule is something I want to investigate in full. That doesn't mean I'm willing to take action for the sake of a few strangers.
To say this for a while. There are a lot of bad guys in the academia, but you're not one of them. You're their weirdo.
Though I must say, I quite enjoy this. Uniqueness is also an asset, is it not?
Wow, that's a great way to think about it. Paimon's really impressed. If only Miss Shani had a similar mind.
I'm just a more likable person than her in general. There's nothing... He won't last long if we leave him here. We'll work out our next step after we return to Aru Village.
We're back!
You must be tired. You should rest.
What's the situation?
Unfortunately, somebody who's too young to take on the role of Isak's grandfather. Nevertheless.
So, at one point in time, the abandoned Elazar Hospital served as the Academia's site.
Yep, pretty much.
Their plan must have been implemented at some point before we arrived at Aru Village, since Divine Cant and Knowledge has been in circulation for a while now. Yet, they fled once we were headed to the village, almost as if they knew we were on their trail. Why is that?
We may have a mole in our midst. One of us could be secretly revealing our whereabouts to the Academia.
Huh? Are our friendships that shallow?
Looks like none of you have realized wherein lies the issue. Sino, you're the reason why they can predict our movements.
Wait, what's that supposed to mean?
Choose your next words very carefully.
It is simply a logical inference.
So what you're saying is... Interesting. And here I thought you were the most suspicious one, Al-Haytham, since you were always acting
I know. You have a point. But I realized something as we were returning from the hospital. Sino isn't like any of us.
What are you trying to say?
Do you still remember who you are, General Maham? As a Matra, you are no doubt privy to certain kinds of information. Before you can take action against someone, you are required to have all the facts. Simply put, the Academia has traditionally allowed you access to a wealth of sensitive information. Knowing their modus operandi, if you want to raise a vicious wolf, you need to make sure that you can avoid its bite.
The Academia is monitoring me?
It's not that simple. The Academia has eyes all over Sumeru, but they have every so often comes a Nyagarbaha Day. On this day, the Academia enters new information into the Akasha through knowledge capsules. I remember seeing a thick notebook next to the control panel once. Its contents were all about the General Mahamatra, his activities throughout the day, preferred methods of enacting judgment, everything.
You're saying that the Academia entered my information into the Akasha too? But what's the point in doing that? My actions aren't important enough to be added into the
The Akasha is capable of computation. The Akasha's algorithms are entirely capable of predicting your movements using the data entered. When you would depart, the route you would follow, your destination.
It predicted my every...
The Academia has been watching you longer than you think. However, the fact that you resigned is proof that their suspicions were well...
So that's how it is. Sino adheres to his principles so strongly that he's actually a thorn in their side. Tenacity of will and steadfast faith are worthless to the Academia. They need scholars who are easily pliable and mindlessly go after anything they can profit from. Sino, don't take it to heart. This just proves how much of a trustworthy ally...
They escaped because of me.
Don't blame yourself. It's not like any of us would have known.
I have an idea. If they predicted my movements, then I might be able to guess where they...
Whoa, you bounced.
There is always an opportunity for safety after danger passes.
Oh, so that's how it is! Paimon, if the Academia is trying to avoid Sino, then the safest place would be... Yep, that's right!
They'll want to proceed in the direction opposite of where I'm going. I must go.
There's also something I want to investigate.
Let's go, guys!
Please, wait! I want to go too.
You want to go too?
I want to find Grandpa. I promise.
Everyone, I leave him in your hands.
Yay! Let's go! Remember to... Paimon feels like we're missing someone, though.
Yes. After leaving the village, we should head straight toward the desert.
I know the desert like the back of my hand.
Is that because you play here a lot?
Yep. One time, Grandpa almost got lost in the desert, but I was the one who brought him back.
There's something here. What's this?
It's buried in the sand. Looks...
And Paimon thought running around everywhere was already enough work. Okay. So, we have to dig it out?
These are likely fragments of an Academia-developed device, something akin to a headset. Looks like there were more than one village keeper. They must have been escorted this way, because there are device fragments scattered around here. Let's split up and search the area. Chances are that we'll find other things nearby.
Is this what we're searching for? It looks good.
This is definitely a device used to extract divine knowledge.
How did it end up buried in the sand? That can't have been part of the plan. They must have been attacked along the way.
Wait, what?
Grandpa, I hope you're okay.
Don't worry. Your grandpa's gonna be fine.
Razak didn't display any signs of starvation or dehydration, which means that they left fairly recently.
We should be able to catch up.
One more thing. Given that the device had been entirely covered by I believe the attack must have happened prior to the sandstorm.
Let's keep going. They can't have gone far.
Ugh, but running on sand is so tiring.
But you're flying, aren't you, Paimon? Is flying over sand tiring too?
Ugh, of course it is.
Voices, over there. It sounds like an argument.
Whoa, you have really good ears.
Don't get any closer. They'll notice us.
Dia's talking with the Eremites? Very interesting. Let's listen in.
If you had informed me sooner, there'd be plenty of room.
You're one of us. We would never lie.
Scholars. You don't know as much as I do. Need me to...
I knew it. That's a...
Dia? Why would you... Dia!
Hey, what are you doing?
Huh?
Didn't you say you'd help me find Grandpa?
Well, look who's here.
This complicates things.
You've betrayed Aru village?
So, this is the great General... Dear, you'd be better off as my assistant than hanging around with this motley crew. Seen for yourself. I have the means and methods, and my ideals are far more admirable.
I'm not the type that's easily swayed, Raman. You of all people should know that.
Wait, what's going on, Dia? Whose side are you on here?
Shut it, Paimon.
It doesn't matter. Whichever side you pick, nothing can deter us from the grand mission of resurrecting King Deshret. Once our Lord of Old returns to this land...
Face the facts, Raman. It's not gonna happen. You should understand that more than anyone. Have all your years as a merc taught you nothing about placing hopes in a ruler?
I'm a desert dweller and a proud follower of King Deshret. Whether I live by the edge of the sword or in peaceful comfort, my soul will always carry.
It's not too late yet. The village mad scholars aren't gonna bring King Deshret back to life.
You don't understand, my dear lady. Pursuing our faith is our purpose in life. Even if the chance of success...
Even if it'll expose you to the Academia? Even if they end up disbanding the Eremites? Your Eremites, which you've worked so hard for all these years?
Yes. We've waited a long time for this day to come. The sun and the moon no longer shine here. All you see now is cracks in this desiccated land. But fate has finally dealt me a hand. With these scholars in our custody, we'll stomp the Academia's forces and fight our way beyond the wall of Samir.
Ridiculous. Think about it. The Academia controls the entirety of Sumeru. Your powers are negligible. If you still don't believe me, then try asking these two men. They're also against the Academia, but neither of them are as arrogant.
They look more like pawns of the Academia to me. Why would I listen to anything the people of Greater Lord Rukkhadavad? Filthy traitors. Your god abandoned all honor and betrayed King Deshret.
It's impossible. Perhaps we should.
Do you really believe that by kidnapping the scholars, you'll be able to negotiate with the Academia? These people have no value as bargaining chips, but I could be persuaded to take their place as your next hostage. These scholars were exiled from the Academia. I, on the other hand, am their current
Wait, you can't be serious.
So, you want to trade?
Precisely. Any wise...
What are you thinking? What if they decide to kill you instead?
Well, that would be bad luck for me. However, I'd get the chance to observe the scholars, perhaps even find out the truth.
Think you can talk me over with that confident look?
I'm not trying to persuade you. I'm using this as a means of joining forces against...
You are the scribe. What do you have against the Academia?
Not all desert dwellers believe in King Deshret, and the same applies to the Academia. Why must all knowledge seekers approve of the Academia's way of doing things?
You Academia scum. Every last one of you is nothing but a hypocrite, just like everyone else on the other side of that wall. I've made myself clear enough.
Not so fast. I'll hate them. Do you stand by everything you just said? You know you're making a dangerous decision, right?
I do.
Good. Raman, hear me out. These people are my friends. Maybe you can't take the followers of the Dendro Archon at...
We've known each other for years.
In that case, I'm willing to vouch for their honesty with my right arm. Come on, Raman, don't be a coward. If you're serious about taking on the Academia...
An arm from the Flame Mane. But what if you refuse to oblige? What should I do then? No one's a fool here, Dia. We're mercs. And mercs don't tend to live long, and...
You're not wrong, but this is different. I promised my friends that we'd bring back the village keepers together.
Let's do it right here, then. Give me your right arm as proof of your resolve.
Don't listen to him! He's not even trying to negotiate!
That's fine.
Are you crazy?
We came here to save lives. One arm for that many people is still a pretty good deal, if you ask me. Raman,
Sure. Go ahead and cut off her right arm.
No! Dia! What are you gonna do? Think of something!
You don't have to go this...
That's not for you to decide.
Do it!
Dia! Run!
Stop!
What's wrong? Can't do it?
Flame Mane, you and I are both desert folk. Cutting off your arm is no different than cutting off my own fingers. Where's the sense in cutting my own kin to pieces? You've shown me that you're serious. Go on now, take your friends and leave.
I was really counting on him not going through.
Dia! That was crazy! Have you all lost your minds? What if he'd actually...
Then I'd just have to hold my claymore with my left arm. Okay, I'm sorry, but...
Don't ever make a promise like that again. I can deal with the likes of them. If it came down to it, you would not lose to them either.
I don't doubt it, Sino. But this is about more than me and them. There's a lot more where they came. Even if we got rid of one bunch of radicals, there are others out there. Wiping them out...
I'm sorry, Dia. I should have stayed put and listened.
It's okay. I promised you I'd help find your grandpa, so I'll do whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes? You just might be scholar.
Huh? Are you serious?
The Eremites once said that I was a lunatic. Perhaps a little madness is essential to be successful in research.
Why does it feel like he's using his praise for me as an excuse to brag about himself? Okay, let's get moving. We should head back to the village and rest up. Today was just a trial run. Noon tomorrow is gonna be...
Everyone hold hands! If you're not sure what to do next, how about I take you on a walk? You're all here so early.
Looks like we have everyone here. Isak, are you sure?
I'll watch from a safe distance. Dia, I want to be there to bring Grandpa...
Okay, let's...
Dia, wait.
What's the matter?
I heard that you were quite reckless yesterday. No more of that today,
Fine.
Everything.
Ring cutter.
Killjoy! We've
Shine
only just
down.
Well, looks like I went too far.